What the American people see is a government that is finally delivering the promise of accountability under President Trump. You want to have a conversation about transparency? Let me ask you a question. Do you have any idea where the $22 billion that the Department of Health and Human Services provided to illegal aliens under Joe Biden is right now? $22 billion.
That was a mic drop, folks. Kudos to Stephen Miller standing his ground against the fake news media. Good morning and welcome to the second hour of First Edition, only on Newsmax 2. I'm John Burnett.
And I'm Krisha Lenzo. It's Wednesday, February 19th, I believe. But John, to your point about Stephen Miller, he flipped the script there on that CNN anchor because he basically was saying that Americans don't want a bureaucracy. They want a democracy and what they voted for, which is to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse.
Absolutely. Full steam ahead. So let's bring in our political panel. We're joined today by Melanie Collette. She's a former vice chair for the New Jersey Federation of Republican Women and a policy analyst for the Committee for the Constructive Tomorrow. And Theron Bond, a Democratic strategist. Welcome back to First Edition.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that was a weak good morning.
That was
weak.
We paused a second, but good morning.
Let's say good morning, take two. Good morning.
None of us have had coffee.
Awesome.
Okay, there you go. So let's talk about President Trump and his administration delivering on promises made to the American people. Melanie, Democrats can't really handle that Trump is cutting back on government spending and appointing cabinet members that he knows will deliver on what the American people voted for. What do you think his administration will accomplish next?
Oh, I think they're going to go, as they continue to do Team Doge, I think they're going to find more and more corruption, more and more wasted money, and it's going to benefit the American people greatly. I don't think that people really get $1 trillion. Most of us don't have $1 trillion in our bank account and don't realize exactly how much money that is and how far in debt we are and how important the work that Doge is doing is, and they're doing it efficiently, and they're thinking of ways to get rid of some very antiquated systems that we have in the government. And I don't know how anyone could be against that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what this modern day technology, along with good fiscal policy, is going to do to make America great again.
Exactly. And when you look at all the things that Elon Musk is exposing, the American people are scratching their heads and like, you know what? This is something that we should have actually looked into a long time ago, especially when it comes to the Social Security Administration. You know, Elon Musk put out this pivot table that showed like more than 20 million Americans over the age of like 110 people, 110, No, it's actually 20 million people. At least 20 million people over the age of 110 are receiving Social Security benefits. You know what? Hey, I love longevity, but I doubt it seriously that many people are living over that age. And when you look at it, at least $72 billion were improperly actually sent out to individuals, I believe, between the year of 2015 and 2022. When you look at that alone, taking a deeper dive is more like $200 million could be saved if we actually look at this. So, Theron, I already know you're going to say, well, you shouldn't threaten people's Social Security. No, that is not the point that we're making. What President Trump is trying to do is save Social Security by cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse. What say you?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that timeline of years you gave, some of that time, I believe President Donald Trump was in office during his first term, if my math serves me correctly.
You guys were too busy impeaching him.
Did he leave or was he there? Was he there making decisions or not? I'm just saying the math is there. But going forward, I think the issue is this. Everybody wants to say it's people over the age of 110. Well, if they are not any longer on this earth, if they're not living, then obviously they're not receiving the benefits. So that means that while it appears that money may be going out, it's not going to anyone. There is not a check being cashed. The second thing is a lot of what folks on the opposite side of the aisle have been saying is that they want access to these things, these Social Security numbers, in order to deal with immigration. And the reality is that if you have come over here illegally, and even if so, you don't have a Social Security number. So what are they really looking for? And what has not been talked about is the number of identity thefts that people have year after year based on somebody obtaining their personal private information, which includes, ding ding, your Social Security number, which means you can open up a bank account, you can get a credit card, you can do a whole host of things if you have access to that information. And right now, the American public at large doesn't feel like they have any protections when it comes to this, because we have an unelected person named Elon Musk who can't even run for president in this country if he wanted to, let alone any other office, because he is not from here, and yet he is making decisions for people who are and who pay taxes here.
Yeah, he's looking out for them.
I'm truly trying to understand where Theron got the idea that because those checks are being cut, because those people are 110 years old, that the checks are going nowhere. No, you've never heard of check fraud. You've never heard of Social Security fraud. Somebody's probably cashing those checks. Like, I'm very surprised to hear you say that. And not only that, Elon Musk used to own PayPal. He had tons of access to tons of information. Also, he makes rockets for NASA. Do you think you might have a little bit of security clearance in order to be able to do that and have access to the science and the information that's involved in building rockets for the United States? Probably so. So this fear-mongering on behalf of the left is completely unfounded. And quite honestly, I wish they would stop. Because there are seniors that are out here worried that their Social Security checks are going to be cut, even though the Trump administration has made it perfectly clear that that is not what they're doing. They're trying to save Social Security by making sure that it's solvent and doing away with the fraud, because there's probably some group of people out there that are cashing the checks of people that are 110 years old, and that needs to stop. Those people need to be prosecuted, and that money needs to go back into the pockets of the American people and to the seniors that need them.
Actually, Social Security fraud is what I mentioned when talking about identity theft, which is a concern for people. And I actually don't think Elon Musk has security clearance because he has refused to go through any type of hearing, screening, confirmation, or even a background check in order to be positioned as he is. So no, I don't think he has a security clearance, and that's part of the problem. And even some of those who do, they shouldn't have it because they too have not gone through the formal processes that even some of his other cabinet appointees who he's thought enough of to position properly and actually attempt to send them through a process, Elon Musk has not been vetted in the same way. And we know it's because of, one, how close he is to the president, regardless of if he wants to admit that he's running things, and because Elon doesn't want to use the money according to those government contracts that we all know he has.
I want to put Theron down as an Elon Musk hater. I think it's confirmed now.
Number one.
But I think but Theron, you're making the point for the Democrats in general that there is just a lot of concern with Elon Musk, frankly, because Elon Musk is getting down and dirty in terms of getting to the bottom of all of the wasteful spending we've been seeing. It's not just Social Security. Melanie, we've also been hearing from the Treasury Department. Secretary Besson has said that there's been $4.7 trillion in Treasury payments, which we're missing a critical code that allows us to track how certain funds are being allocated. And this was just completely missing under the Joe Biden's administration. And now we're finally learning about it. I mean, another portion of our spending has just been completely unaccounted for. And frankly, the Democrats are whining and complaining about it because all of that money is going to these government bureaucrats, which the majority of them are Democrats.
Most certainly it is. And all the whining and complaining, the thing that I find most hilarious about this entire thing is government officials, people who are elected to protect our money, are complaining about an audit. These are the same people who hired 80,000 IRS agents to audit us and check and put under a microscope anything that we spent over $600. And here we have trillions of dollars of missing money, miscoded transactions, and we're not supposed to look and see, hey, where did that money go? It's completely ridiculous. It's hypocritical, and I am glad to see it. Hey, listen, maybe we'll get a huge tax cut. Maybe we'll get a rebate. Maybe Theron will get a little something in her pocket where all that money is going.
Exactly.
You know,
see, even you got to smile at that, Theron.
If we wanted to do an audit, then the first thing we should have looked at is the $7 trillion missing from the Pentagon. That's not just 1, 2, 3, or 4
Yeah,
trillion.
let's expose it all.
Yeah.
But see, that's the
Which
problem.
would have prevented all of this, what's going on. And it's not about the audit that's happening. It's about the people in the faces behind this audit. It's about the families who are impacted by this.
Exactly.
And the lack of consideration by Elon for those folks.
But see, we can agree with you, Theron, with regard to, let's dig into the Pentagon. But when we say dig into everything, see, you want to pick and choose. And the thing is, look, the thing is, it should be all over, wherever the fraud is. Don't pick and choose, because when you pick and choose, you're playing politics. And speaking about picking and choosing, Kash Patel is up for a vote to become the next FBI director. So with that said, look, are you willing to stop fighting? You know the inevitable. Kash Patel is going to be confirmed. Let's get an FBI director in there to further bring accountability and common sense with regard to many of these federal investigations. What say you, Theron?
I wouldn't want anybody who has an enemies list promoted to have carte blanche to decide who gets charged with things in this country and who doesn't. And regardless of what he said during his confirmation hearing, regardless of what so many others have said, we see that they too turn the page back to who they really are after they are confirmed. And if he is confirmed, which is likely to be, we're going to see him talk about his enemies list again. It may not be formed as an enemies list, but we're definitely going to see him go after people who he feels have offended him or offended President Donald Trump. And that's not a unifying White House administration, if you ask me.
You know what my daddy always told me? Son, you don't have to, when you hear the police sirens, you don't have to worry about it if you didn't do anything.
That's not true. And we know there are so many examples of why that's not true.
Melanie, 30 seconds. What do you think we'll see today in terms of the vote?
No, that is true. Of course, he's going to get confirmed. And to John's point, and his wise daddy's point, if you don't have dirty hands, if you haven't done anything, why are you freaking out when you hear police sirens? You shouldn't be. You should be cool. I think the reason why the Democrats are so nervous about Kash Patel is because somewhere in their twisted minds, they thought that they were going to get away with all that they did to President Trump during his last term, all that they did during the Biden administration. I think they're going to find out that laws have been broken. They thought they were going to get away with it, and Kash Patel is going to find that out. That has nothing to do with an enemies list. That has to do with finding out the truth on behalf of the American people. And if the Trump administration has nothing else, they have tried to be transparent and reveal the truth.
Right, and that's why Biden actually pardoned the House committee. Why? Because the Democrats' hands are dirty. We got to leave it there.
Melanie, Collette, Theron Bond, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Keep talking, Theron. We got to go.